Have you ever really stopped to think about the market for something like, well, a salivation machine?
Hmm.
It sounds incredibly specific, doesn't it? Almost, I don't know, sci-fi.
A little bit, yeah.
But what if I told you it's actually a global market and it's growing pretty fast? Projected to be worth billions, in fact.
It's surprising when you first hear it.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. We're
Yeah.
pulling back the curtain on this report from Cognitive Market Research. It's called the Global Salivation Machine Market Growth and Projections 2021-2033.
Mm-hmm.
And just for clarity, these aren't some futuristic gadgets. We're talking about medical devices, really crucial for people with conditions like chronic dry mouth,
Yeah.
xerostomia.
Absolutely. That can come from medications or cancer treatments like radiation, even autoimmune diseases, things like Sjögren's syndrome.
Exactly. So understanding that medical need, it really puts the market growth into context. Okay, let's unpack this report. Let's pull out the key bits of info and maybe some surprising facts for you.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is how something that sounds so specialized, a device just for dry mouth, can actually drive such significant economic activity around the globe.
Hmm.
So we'll look at the journey, the market revenue across different regions. We've got figures from 2021, projections for 2025, and then all the way out to 2033.
And it's all backed by those key GR metrics, the compound annual growth rates.
Precisely. It really paints a picture of how specialized but interconnected these global markets are becoming, often driven by very specific patient needs.
So let's start with the big picture, the overall scale. Globally, this market back in 2021 generated just over $1.3 billion.
Which is already a substantial number for such a device.
It is. Now get this. The projection for 2025 is nearly $1.8 billion.
Okay.
And then it keeps climbing, impressively, to over $3.3 billion by 2033.
Wow. So more than doubling from that 2021 figure over the period.
Exactly. And that translates to a strong overall CGR,
Mm.
8.121%.
Mhm.
So what does that really tell us? Significant, sustained global growth is expected.
Definitely suggests a growing awareness, maybe better diagnosis, and a real need for these solutions worldwide.
Okay, let's break it down by region, starting with North America.
Makes sense.
So North America generated, let's see, over $500 million in 2021, 515 million roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's projected to more than double, hitting nearly 1.21 billion by 2033. That's growing at about 7.36% annually. Pretty solid.
And within North America, the U.S. is, well, and surprisingly, the dominant player. It started around $390 million in 2021,
Right.
and that's expected to reach over $880 million by 2033.
Okay.
Canada also shows a very steady climb. It was just under $92 million back in 21,
Yeah.
and projected to be over $228 million by 2033. So again, more than doubling there too.
But I was really struck by Mexico's numbers here. This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Ah, yeah.
Mexico actually shows the highest growth rate in the region, a 9.325% CAGR.
That is high for the region.
Yeah. It started smaller, obviously, around $33.7 million in 2021, but it's projected to almost triple, reaching nearly $98.4 million by 2033. Does the report give any clues why Mexico is accelerating so much faster?
It does touch on that. I mean, while the whole region's growing well, Mexico's higher rate is likely connected to expanding access to more specialized medical care.
Okay.
And, growing middle class, perhaps making these devices more affordable or accessible to more people. It kind of points to a developing healthcare infrastructure starting to address these more specific chronic issues.
That makes sense. Okay, shifting gears, let's hop over to Europe.
Right.
The total market there back in 2021 was around $348.68 million,
Okay.
estimated to grow to over $853 million by 2033. So that's a TAGR of about 7.7%. Still very respectable.
Yeah, and Europe shows some strong but quite varied contributions country by country. Germany, for example, started at about $76 million.
Mhm.
That's set to more than double to over $175 million by 2033. A solid 7.1% CAGR. And the UK and France also show, steady, significant growth in their markets, too.
And we should keep an eye on Spain as well, right? It's showing pretty robust growth, nearly 9.5% CAGR.
That's right, 9.499%, rising from just over $20 million to projected over $62 million.
But the real standout you mentioned earlier.
Ah, Denmark, yes. It's quite remarkable, actually. A 9.959% CAGR.
Wow, almost 10%.
Exactly. It starts smaller, $16 million in 2021, but projected to hit over $50 million by 2033.
Hmm.
The data seems to suggest that some of these smaller European nations, perhaps with highly developed healthcare systems already, are seeing very high adoption rates.
Interesting.
And that's alongside collective growth from places like Sweden, Switzerland, and what the report calls rest of Europe, which also shows a high CAGR, around 9.7%. It suggests maybe a higher penetration rate as awareness grows and these treatments become more standard.
Right, getting into the mainstream. Okay, let's turn now to Asia Pacific. Big region, big potential.
Definitely.
The market there was about $277 million in 2021 and projected to grow quite strongly to $840 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of 9.718%. So actually one of the fastest growing regions overall.
It really is. And China is, unsurprisingly, a huge driver there. Its market is set to more than triple.
Triple. Wow.
Yeah, from around $95 million in 2021 to over $316 million by 2033. That's a CAGR over 10.5%.
Incredible.
But even more notable, maybe, is India. India actually leads the entire region in growth rate.
Really? Higher than China's?
Yep. An amazing 10.957% CAGR predicted, growing from about $33.7 million in 2021 to over $117 million by 2033.
Wow. That kind of explosion in growth in both China and India, it really highlights something, doesn't it? Maybe increased healthcare access or just the ability to finally address these chronic conditions in huge populations.
Exactly. It points to massive shifts happening there.
And the report mentions other key players too, like Japan, South Korea, Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, all showing pretty consistent growth, mostly in that 7 to 9% range.
That's right. So it's not just one or two countries. It's a broad-based expansion across that whole massive region.
Okay, moving south then to South America.
Mm-hmm.
Market value there was just under $65 million in 2021.
Okay.
And it's on track to hit over $175 million by 2033. That's a strong CAGR too, 8.643%.
And Brazil is definitely leading the charge there. Its market value is set to nearly triple.
Another tripling.
Yeah, from about $26 million to over $76 million predicted by 2033. That's backed by a 9.3% CAGR.
Strong.
And we also see countries like Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile all showing consistent growth too, all above 7.5% annually. So again, it indicates a pretty healthy and broad regional expansion. Probably tied, like elsewhere, to improving healthcare infrastructure and awareness.
Makes sense. Okay, two more regions. The Middle East.
Right, another area showing rapid growth.
It started at around $57 million in 2021, projected to rise to over $152 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of 8.723%.
And within the Middle East, countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Qatar are showing CGRs near or even above 9%.
Any specific reasons highlighted there?
Well, the report suggests it's maybe not just general healthcare spending increases. It points to things like ambitious national healthcare plans or visions in some countries,
Oh, okay.
plus significant investment in high-tech medical facilities, and maybe also a rising prevalence of conditions like diabetes or other non-communicable diseases that often have dry mouth as a symptom or side effect.
Right, driving that specific need.
Exactly, driving that accelerated adoption of these specialized devices.
Okay, and finally, let's round out the regional tour with Africa.
Mm-hmm.
The market there grows from about $37.6 million in 2021 to a projected $89.99 million by 2033. The CGR is a bit lower here, 6.8%.
That's right. Still a steady upward trend, though. It's contributed to by countries like Nigeria, South Africa, and the rest of the continent collectively.
So still growing consistently.
Exactly. It just shows that the demand and growth for these devices is truly global, even if the pace varies depending on, the stage of healthcare development and accessibility in different places.
So if we try to tie all these regional threads together, what's the big picture story?
Well, if you connect all these dots, this really comprehensive global expansion, it seems clearly driven by a combination of factors.
Okay.
Ongoing tech advancements, obviously, making the devices better or perhaps cheaper, innovation in actually addressing specific conditions like xerostomia more effectively,
Right.
and maybe critically, just expanding healthcare access across the globe, people getting diagnosed more, having more options available.
So those broader trends are fueling even these quite specific market segments.
Precisely. As more people get diagnosed and can actually access solutions, the market grows.
It is really remarkable, though, seeing that consistency of growth across such different places, different economies. It makes you think about the implications, for how we view specialized medical needs globally.
It does.
I mean, the growth is impressive, definitely. But does the report mention any, like, nuances or challenges? What about things like affordability or distribution hurdles,
Hmm.
especially in some of those faster-growing emerging markets?
That's a really good point. And yes, the report does acknowledge that. While the growth is strong overall, challenges definitely exist. Things like ensuring equitable access, making sure devices are affordable in regions maybe with less developed payment systems or insurance.
Right.
But the fact that the KGRs are so consistently positive suggests that the market players, the companies involved, are finding ways around these hurdles, maybe through different pricing models or local partnerships, something like that,
Yeah.
to meet that growing demand. It suggests there's a really robust underlying need that's kind of pulling the investment and the solutions forward.
Okay, so what a fascinating journey that was, diving into the salivation machine market.
Yeah.
From North America's, established base
Hmm.
to that explosive growth in Asia Pacific and the steady rise everywhere else. It's impressive global growth, clearly driven by tech and better healthcare access.
Oh.
And that final projection, over $3.3 billion by 2033, that's quite something. It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And given that strong growth, pushed by technology and access, it does raise some interesting questions for the future, I think.
Like what?
Well, could these machines be adapted for other conditions? What new applications might emerge as the tech evolves?
Good question.
And also, how does the success of this, seemingly quite specific market, how does that reflect bigger trends, like investment in health tech generally, or the ongoing build out of healthcare infrastructure worldwide?
Right. What does it tell us about the future of specialized medical devices overall?
Exactly. It encourages you to think about what these numbers might really mean for patient care down the line.
Definitely food for thought. We encourage you to keep diving into these curious corners of the world with us. Unexpected knowledge, as we always say, is just a deep dive away.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at a market you might not have really thought about before, the salivation machine industry.
Yeah, it sounds maybe a little unusual.
It does, but it's actually, well, it's more impactful and honestly more interesting than it might first seem. Our goal here is to take some pretty detailed market research. We've got these excerpts from Salivation Machine Market Dynamics and Future Trends from Cognitive Market Research, and kind of boil it down into the key takeaways, the surprising insights for you.
And it really is remarkable, how something that seems so niche, so specific, actually connects directly to a patient's, well, their daily comfort, their quality of life.
That's a great point.
It's not just about the device itself, right? It's more like a window into these broader healthcare trends. It shows how really specialized tech is meeting some very real human needs.
Yeah, that quality of life aspect. I think we'll see that pop up again and again as we dig in. So, okay, let's unpack this. So, first things first. To really get what this market is about, what exactly is a salivation machine in this medical context? Essentially, these are devices designed to help stimulate or regulate saliva production.
Right, for people who suffer from persistent dry mouth conditions.
Exactly. And the big question is, why the sudden surge? What's driving this demand? Well, the research points pretty clearly to a noticeable rise in specific conditions.
Like salivary disorders, neurological issues.
Yeah, the source mentions Parkinson's disease, Sjogren's syndrome, and also something maybe less obvious, radiation-induced dry mouth. That can be a really debilitating side effect from, say, cancer treatments.
It really can. And
Yeah.
it's important to stress this isn't just a minor discomfort. Chronic dry mouth, it can seriously affect eating, speaking,
Yeah.
even basic oral health.
Hmm.
Can lead to other complications down the line. So the fact that these machines offer immediate relief, that's a huge factor in the growth we're seeing, not just in hospitals, but significantly in home healthcare too.
That home healthcare angle is interesting. Shows how much daily comfort matters.
It really does, especially for managing chronic conditions day to day.
So, okay, we have more patients needing these solutions. Is that the whole story? Or is maybe technology playing a part too? Are the machines themselves getting better, more practical?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Technology is playing a massive role here.
Yeah.
These aren't just simple pumps anymore. Not at all.
Right.
Modern devices have things like smart sensors, really intuitive controls, and critically very accurate flow regulation. These upgrades make them way more practical, more accessible,
I see.
which is why you're seeing them used more widely. Hospitals, yeah, but also research labs, rehab centers, really across the board globally.
Wow. Okay. So it's a combination more need and better tools to meet that need.
Precisely. And that connects to an even bigger trend, the global aging population.
Ah, right. How does that fit in?
Well, it's easy to just think, okay, more older people. But the real insight, I think, is that many common medications prescribed for age-related issues, they list dry mouth as a major side effect.
Oh, interesting. Like a secondary effect driving demand.
Exactly. It creates this kind of compounding situation. You have more people potentially susceptible just due to age, plus the treatments they need might also cause the problem these machines address. So it becomes a really key factor, especially in, say, palliative care settings.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the demand is clear, the tech is improving, but surely it's not all straightforward growth. Even really beneficial innovations hit roadblocks. What are some of the hurdles for these machines getting adopted more widely?
You're absolutely right. It's definitely not without challenges. Probably the biggest one, and this is common for advanced medical tech, is cost.
Right. Purchase price,
Uh,
maintenance.
Exactly. The initial outlay and the ongoing upkeep can be pretty high. And that's a huge barrier, particularly in developing countries or maybe healthcare systems that are already stretched thin financially. Every dollar counts there.
Yeah, that's understandable. But the research also mentioned low awareness. That seems kind of surprising for something potentially so helpful.
It does, doesn't it? But it's a real issue. The fact that many patients, especially maybe in more rural or underserved areas,
Mm.
they just don't know these machines exist or what they can do.
Yeah.
That's a significant gap.
A communication or access gap, really.
Totally. And tied into that are sometimes concerns about technical reliability.
Mm.
If patients or clinics worry about frequent malfunctions or maybe there isn't good local support for repairs.
Right, they might hesitate to invest.
Exactly. That kind of thing could really discourage long-term use and, well, wider adoption. It raises important questions about the whole implementation infrastructure.
So it sounds like some classic healthcare challenges, cost, access, information, reliability, are still major factors, even for this quite specialized market. How is the industry responding? Are they innovating to get around these hurdles?
We are seeing some really interesting developments. One big trend is definitely towards making these devices smaller, more portable, even wearable salivation machines.
Oh, wow, wearable.
Yeah, which you can imagine is huge for the user.
Mm,
Much more mobility, more discretion if you need that kind of continuous relief throughout the day.
that's a significant step. And another really exciting area is the integration of AI, artificial intelligence.
Okay, how does AI fit into a salivation machine?
Well, think about it. AI could potentially enable real-time adjustments. The machine learning based on your specific needs at that moment, fine-tuning the therapy, it makes it incredibly personalized.
Huh. Personalized saliva regulation.
Yeah. And if you zoom out, it's a great example of that broader trend we see everywhere in healthcare, right? AI enhancing precision, making treatments more effective, even in these very specialized fields. That's fascinating. And are they being used in new ways, too? Like beyond just patient care?
Yes, actually.
Mhm.
Their use is expanding. The research notes they're now being employed in clinical research settings.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Researchers are apparently using them to get, like, objective measurements when they're testing treatments for xerostomia. That's the medical term for dry mouth drool,
Sure.
and other related oral health conditions. So the machine itself becomes a research tool.
I see. So it's not just treating the symptom, it's helping us understand and develop better treatments overall. That really elevates their role, doesn't it?
It does.
It positions these machines as not just symptom management tools, but potentially vital instruments for future medical progress in oral health. That's quite an evolution.
Absolutely. So wrapping this up,
Mm.
what does this all mean for you? Listening in, we've kind of peeled back the layers on this salivation machine market today.
We've seen the key drivers, the patient needs, the tech breakthroughs, but also the real challenges in adoption, like cost and awareness, and then these innovative future paths. It's a pretty complex picture.
It really is. And maybe something to think about is how even these very specialized technologies, like we discussed, they really mirror and respond to huge global shifts.
Like the aging population.
Right, and the rise of AI. But also how those persistent healthcare challenges, access, cost, just getting information out there, how they continue to shape even the most cutting-edge solutions.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? How might these same forces, these same dynamics, be playing out in other parts of medical innovation? Maybe ones that touch your life more directly.
That's a great thought to leave things on. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really appreciate you exploring these sometimes hidden dynamics of industries that genuinely do impact people's lives. Hope you stay curious.